to my channel. My name is Sierra, and I am going to be working on this little octopus mold. And I have something here. I have, what is this? About 1.5 ounces of resin. I did put through my vacuum chamber. I don't know if that was a waste of time doing that, but we'll see. I have 2 6mm glass cabochon eyes. I'll be putting in with UV resin. And I have some fantasy fiber, and this is in Very Light. Never used this before, thought, let's give it a try. So I have 2. I hit this one here, I embedded some sequins in it. And this one here is got nothing embedded in it. And what you do is you take the fantasy fiber and you get some parchment, place the fantasy fiber in the parchment, you lay it down, you can lay your sequins and then layer some fantasy fiber on top of it, and get your little iron, no steam, iron it. You just want to iron it for a few seconds and it fuses. I do know that you can burn it if you do it for too long. So I'm going to play with this. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we're going to try. First, I'm going to place the eyes in this octopus. I believe the eyes go right here. And then I have this little cup here because I want to suspend this like so when I pour the resin, because I want to fill the head first. But first we're going to concentrate on the eyes. I have some UV resin, the eyes, and my little torch here. And that's what we're going to do. In the meantime, I'm going to carry on with my little stories, my police stories. I did get some feedback that people are interested, so why not? Oh, and on the eyes, these have the little, I don't know if you can tell, but it's got the little slit. And I just drew the line in the direction of the slit because I don't want my octopus to be cockeyed. So as long as the slits are going the same way in the eyes, it doesn't matter which way they're going to me. So I'm going to place a little bit of UV resin. Like I said, these are 6mm. And then I'm going to take the eye. See if I can pick it up with my tweezers and set it in like so. Okay, and what I'm thinking about talking about today is my fear, what I feared most about becoming a police officer, because I did have a big fear. And my fear was, and it almost prevented me from actually pursuing it, was seeing not injured so much, but deceased children. That scared me like nothing else. That was the one thing that scared me more than anything. I had, my children, and the last thing I wanted to be exposed to was that. That was huge for me. I did not want to deal with that or see that. Not so much deal with it. I didn't want to see it at all. And this eye is glowing, but this one isn't. I wonder why. So, yeah, that was my biggest fear. And I prayed. I am Christian. And I prayed to be shielded from that. And it's almost like how, there's eyes there. It's like, how can you shield yourself from something that happens, especially in a large city? You're bound to run into something like that, right? So that scared me. I'm going to cut some of this. You may hear my chimes going off on my ring. It's a real windy day. And my American flag is blowing in the wind out there, and it's causing my my ring on my front of the house to sense motion. I don't know why I have such a hard time talking. As soon as I hit record, it's like my brain, I don't know, it's really weird. So yeah, so I prayed. I, talked to my husband about it. He told me that the odds of me, I'm just putting that in the resin, the odds of me coming across these children like that are, have a very strong possibility. I don't know how I'm going to get this out. Strong possibility of that is what I was going to be subjected to. That is like slime. That is so cool. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. But I would be subjected to seeing that. So, he told me to prepare for it. I don't know how you prepare for something like that, but, mentally, I guess, he was telling me. So that wasn't good. I still wasn't, I'm not going to do any more of that like that. I'm just going to place it in there. I didn't want to prepare for it. I didn't want to see that. That's not something I wanted to be exposed to. But I know that I was being irrational, thinking that I was going to be shielded from that. It doesn't happen, right? So, I mean, it terrified me. I was very, very, very scared. Oh, I still have some in there. That is so cool. It looks like slime. But yeah, that was very uncertain time. Let's throw these in there. Very uncertain time for me. And I almost didn't do it. So, yeah. That was, considering of everything that I had to be afraid of, the possibility of fear, that's what scared me, was seeing that, being exposed to that. And I will say this, my prayers were answered, believe it or not. I wasn't exposed. I mean, I seen some things, but it could have been a lot worse. Let's just say that. Believe it or not, it could have been a lot worse. So, I was shielded. And I'll explain when I get back what I did see. I can promise you that it's nothing, it's a good outcome. All of it's a good, very good outcome. Which is surprising. Very, very good outcome. So, I'm just going to let this, I don't even know if this is going to turn out, but I'm going to let this cure like that. And then I'm going to clean all this up. But when I come back, I'm probably going to try and fit these sequins in there. And then I'm going to cut this stuff up, and that's what's going to go in the tentacles. So, yeah, just so you know, I do have a very interesting story that involves children. It's a good outcome, I promise. And how prayers are answered. My prayers were answered 15 years, and I'll explain my one true incident. But good outcome, I promise. So I'll be back in a second. This is cured enough. Well, it's cured. I actually let it sit a little bit. So I have some more of this. What is this called again? Fantasy fiber. And I'm going to cut some up and put it in the resin, but I'm not going to stick it in the cup this time. No need to do that. Just going to stick it in like that. Let me pour some in here first. Yeah, as far as my story goes, involving a child, I had just under a year on the job, or no, I'm sorry, under 2 years on the job, and I was working afternoons now, and it was a really rainy spring day, very rainy, and a call came out that a child had fallen from, I believe it was a second-story window, possibly a third-story window, but I think it was a second-story window. And me and my partner, because it's a two-man, we drove in two-man cars, 2 officers per car, usually, during the day anyway. I mean, in the evenings anyway. And I dreaded it. I really, truly dreaded this call. I thought, okay, I've been shielded from this for quite a while now, and this is it. I'm gonna see this. I'm gonna see something horrific. At least, I mean, that's what you would expect, right? You get a call that it was a 2-year-old child. It was a 2-year-old child out of a third-story window. That's what it was. And so, of course, we take the call, and it was in the projects in the city. And I was telling my partner at the time, I don't know if I can do this. And he was like, don't worry about it. We'll get each other through this, And we just mentally, on the ride over there, lights and sirens, we're trying to prepare ourselves the best way you can for something like this, mentally. He was very new, that my partner at the time. I think he had less than a year on the job, or he had just gotten over a year on the job. I know he didn't have much time at all. So he hadn't seen anything like this, and I had so far been protected from this kind of stuff. And we get there, and we see a bunch of little boys. There's a grassy area behind the apartment building, and they were playing football. And they said, "Oh, are you here for the little girl that fell out of the window?" And we're like, "Yeah." "Oh, we picked her up and took her into her mom." And I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with people who fall from large heights or anything like that. Picking a person up and moving them is the last thing you want to do to somebody that's injured. So we were like, you picked her up. These boys were 6, 7, 8 years old. I think maybe the oldest could have been 9, pushing it. And yeah, we saw her fall out the window, and she was crying, and we took her up to her mom. So, they were all, wanting to help, and, they were like, they did good in their eyes. They did good. Well, they actually did do good, because we get up there, and there was like just total chaos going on in the hallway on the 3rd floor. And there was there was a bunch of children. And the littlest one that I seen, she's sitting in a diaper. Her mom, or who I later learned was her mother, was holding her in her lap, and she had a sucker lollipop. The little girl was chowing down on a lollipop. And somebody called about a little child falling out of a third-story window, and it was the little girl eating a lollipop. I couldn't believe it. And she looked fine, of course medics were on their way, and what had happened, which is so wild, is because it was raining, the ground was really soft. It was, there was 3 windows, and she went out this window. Had she gone out to the window next to it, it was a sidewalk. And the window on the other side of that was some bushes, some tall bushes. She landed in the grass, and she bounced. She literally bounced. And the little boys had seen her fall out the window. She didn't fall out. She was actually pushed by her older sister. Her older sister, had problems. She was a little girl, 10, 11 years old. And when we asked her why she did it, she wanted to see if her sister could fly. The little girl didn't do it to be mean. She didn't do it to, because she was, vicious. She had problems. And, of course, there was a big investigation that went into this. And medics came and took the little girl to the hospital, obviously to be checked for, injuries, internal injuries, internal bleeding and stuff like that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing wrong with that little girl. I couldn't believe it. I really could not believe that the little girl didn't have a scratch on her. And, so that's why those little boys picked her up. They just saw her come tumbling out. And, it was 3 stories, because I remember she was 2 years old, and she went out the 3rd-story window. And thank goodness it was raining that day. Thank goodness. But yeah, so I've seen other stuff when it comes to children, stuff that you don't want to see or you don't want to have to deal with, but that was the closest I've come to actually seeing the one thing I feared the most. And 15 years, and I was shielded from that part of the job. Right, so safe to say those prayers were answered. I'm just chopping this stuff up, trying to make it really fine. Because the way this comes in the bag, it's just, you don't see the sparkle until you hit it with heat. Then once you hit it with heat, then you see the sparkle that I'm picking up here. So yeah. See how that's looking in the resin? It's looking actually kind of cool. I just figured with the octopus, how some octopi can actually hide camouflage. So that was my reasoning behind using this. I wanted to see how it would look in clear resin too. That's why I didn't add any glitter. I had a couple little sequins, but I didn't want to add glitter. I wanted to see how this stuff actually looks in resin. So that's all I'm going to do to this. I'm just going to top it off. I'm just picking up the little pieces from this paper and just sticking it in the resin. So I'm going to top this off, and then once this is cured, I'll be back. This is ready. Let's see how we did with that fantasy fiber. I see I have a little bit of trimming up to do, which is not surprising. I'd be surprised if I didn't have any. All right. Let's see if I can get over his big old head. Come on. I do know it's completely cured. I see his little eyes. Would you look at that? Huh, that turned out so cute. I see I have some cleanup. Let me see. Yeah, those fantasy fibers. He turned out really cute. I hope the camera can pick up. I'll show you up close. I just want to get some of these fibers off of here. It just picks right off. Can you see the fibers in there? Look at the sequins in his head. Oh, that's so cute. Look at that. They stayed suspended in that fantasy fiber. Let me bring the camera down. Let me see if I move this out of the way. There, now you can see the fibers in there. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at the sparkle of that fiber. Isn't that cute? My eye's a little cockeyed, but not too bad. That is really cute. I like how that... I really like how that... the camera's really not picking it up. I'm looking up in my monitor up there. But yeah, he is cute. Look at those sequins. How they stayed suspended in that. Look at how shiny that is. Isn't that cute? He is adorable. Let me see if I put him on black. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Now you can see it. Isn't he cute? Oh, he's adorable. I don't know if I'd do the sequins again, but I think it's cute. He is cute. And I went with the green eyes because I figured if I went with blue or pale eyes, they get lost and all that. So yeah, I really like him. Let me know what you think. Do you like him? I'm going to make him again, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to put in his little noggin here. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today, and I hope you will return. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to my subscribers. I truly appreciate you, and I couldn't do this without you. You have a great day, and God bless. Bye.